if you have a B2C product today, it could be anything. Like I just bought this, like these additional things for my home gym. I bought the different grips you can put on a pull-up bar. So it's like other angles, right? Super specific thing. I have a home gym. I love to invest in it. I love to work out in my home gym. I love to buy stuff from home gym. I follow influencers that are like, there's like the bodybuilder people, and there's like the extreme, like smallest space home gym people, whatever. And like, if you want to get to me as that customer, you go to those folks and you talk to them. And if you have a good product, you sponsor them. Suddenly I'm seeing this stuff. But in B2B, it's actually hard. Like, show me the B2B influencers. Like, where are they? Because like, this is obviously the future of how people connect and understand brands and needs and products. I'm not going to say B2B, like on the enterprise side, maybe it's different, but I still think there's human beings like making decisions, and like brand matters, but especially SMB, this matters. So my question is, how should someone who is running a B2B business think about this? How should they think about where the market's at? How should they think about the opportunities that exist today?
I'll give you the punchline, then we can talk about the setup and all that good stuff. I think the punchline is, we as marketers, now you can define that as, I have a marketing team with titles and looks like marketing and, there's an org chart in marketing, or you can just say, well, I'm the owner of the business, I do the marketing, right? And everything in between. If you're showing up in the world, a lot of marketers think it's about creating content. The most important thing to think about is, how do I create connection? Now that sounds trite, but there's actually craft on both sides, right? There's craft to creating content. There's craft to creating connection. And if you start with this craft to creating content, you mostly think about reach. You mostly think about, how do I put more things out in the world and get them in front of more people, which I just disagree. That's not what marketing is. Marketing is not about getting in front of people. It's about ensuring they care. And that brings us back to the connection side. If you start with the craft of connection, you necessarily think more about resonance. So the punchline to all of this is, I think we are drowning in advice and spending way more time than we ought to be thinking about trying to grow reach. And most of the time we don't have reach problems, we have resonance problems. And because if people don't care, they don't act. And if they don't act, we don't see results, right? So like, whether you're a cold hard capitalist, or you're like me and you're like a bleeding heart creative that wants to wax eloquent about the creative process all the time, both types of people and everyone in between should care about resonance, because that's why people take an action. So that's the punchline to all of this. Most marketing looks like reach, 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 reach. The best marketing today is actually about resonance.
And then when you look at that opportunity for the way that people are buying, and the way that there's connection is happening. So exactly to your point, like, if we'll keep it on the same example. I buy these like things for my home gym because I'm really compelled that like I'm gonna get injured less. I'm gonna like make more progress faster. Person saying it really trusts, like I'm connecting with the person already, and I'm trusting them, and I'm connecting to the thing. What do you do to drive that connection when you don't have the garage gym influencers?
The budget, right?
Yeah,
you're buying your way into somebody else's. Yeah,
or you're buying your way to somebody else's. Or you want to create your own. Like, how should people think about that?
Right. Well, I think you just hinted at it. I think that's what happens is marketers learn to stop creating content and actually themselves create creators. Like organizations in B2B either hire, partner with, or internally start to create and cultivate talent with a capital T. Because this blows my mind, Chris. Like in media, I started as a sports journalist, was a huge fan of Grantland, the prestige magazine at ESPN before they shuttered it. A lot of those people became founding members of TheRinger.com, which still persists today. It's now owned by Spotify. And when I think about my relationship with them, number one, I'm tumbling through personalities. And then I wake up one day and I go, oh, I'm a huge fan of the brand, The Ringer, Grantland. And number two, when they internally say talent, they're not using that as a compliment, like you're talented. They're like, you are the front-facing communicator whose job is to actually learn this very difficult skill, which is to create that connection between audience and an idea, and an audience and you, audience and the brand. And in B2B, where is the talent typically? It's either non-existent or it's a 5% time of the executive. I get this all the time where like sometimes the people who come to me are from corporations, not individual like authors and thinkers. And they're like, we want to make a great show. And we already have the host picked out. I'm like, great, who's the host? And I'm like, before you say anything, it's your boss, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's my boss. Yeah. Okay, so here's what it takes to be really great. as a host? Is your boss going to learn how to do this? Do I have a direct line to your boss to teach them how to show up and be a good interviewer? Because all the stuff you see that's effortless out there is hard won by these people that were either behind the scenes away from the show working at it, or on the show, they've been doing it a while, right? So it blows my mind that here you have the most powerful voices in the world, these entertainers and educators in all domains, including the business world, who are professional capital T talent. And then we go, I think my boss is going to spend almost no time thinking about this, and we're going to launch a podcast, and we are also going to be on the list of 5 to 10 episodes, which is what the data shows exists in the world. Yeah. 5 to 10 episodes among weekly listeners. Can you get on that short list against capital T talent? So I think the solution to that, and this is why I think content marketing teams are in trouble today, is to actually cultivate talent, is to actually have dedicated roles, whether it's a big percent or 100%, where people look like public performers, public storytellers, public teachers, not, well, I also run 16 marketing channels and I'm public talent. And if you're wondering where the hell do I find the time or budget, you're probably doing a whole lot of stuff that's not working. So the first thing is do an audit of what's not working, kill that off. And before you do the same kind of motion in a new place, just consider there might be an entirely new motion or skill that you need, which is to be the role of talent.